bit of technical issues. I do need to take care of some things, so just give me a second. I need to make sure that I have people. Hi, Tony. Hi, predecessor. I want to make sure that Carol is in. And then we will get started. Tonight should be a good one. I'm hoping. I printed my script off for tonight. How is everybody doing? I'm hoping you're all good and excited. Live should be awesome. Good to hear. Live should be good. I forgot to write down everybody from last week, so I need to do that really quick. I had some technical issues. That's why live is a little bit late starting. I'm good. It's been a long week, though. We have... I should have done this live in the spring. But, yeah. Tonight, let's just talk about live tonight. So live tonight is going to be all about bats. And of course, as always, you can ask me questions along the way. But I do want to sort of talk again about our little challenge. Relating to oh, dude, I should have done this and forgot to do it. That's not too surprising with me. Guys, we right now are sitting at, oh my goodness, we are sitting at, as soon as it comes up, I will tell you if it comes up. What do you guys know about bats? I've always found them very interesting. I am from the age group where, with my parents, me and my younger brother had to be involved in Boy Scouting. And there was one time way back when we had a campfire by the lake at the Boy Scout camp, and they had this lake that was right there, right? And during the campfire, I should have been paying attention to the actual campfire, but I couldn't because there were bats literally dropping down and swooping over the lake to get water. It was so cool. And we are going to be starting in just a second. I did want to mention that we are sitting at 1,500 and I think 33 for our for the public watch hours, which is really cool. But we need to get to 3,000. It's been suggested that I make some changes to the videos. Oh, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. But we are going to get started here in just a second. That was actually one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight. But we're gonna get busy here. Tonight, as the title says, we are looking at bats. And I know that we get a lot of people from outside the country. But we're going to be focusing on bats from North America. I've tried to go in and pick out bats from different parts of the country. But to begin with, I want to talk about North America, or bats in general. So first, let's pan out for just a second. Even though we're going to be talking about bats from the United States, we want to pan out for just a second. There are more than 1,400 species of bats spread out across the entire world, which is pretty good. They make up about only 20% of the world's mammal species. And they have a pretty diverse diet, ranging from blood to frogs to fruit to nectar, then to insects, and way more that we're going to talk about as we go through these species of bats. Hi, everybody that's watching. Hope you're having a great time. And thank you for coming into the video, into the live. Bats are seed dispersers, if you didn't know, pest controllers, and surprisingly enough, not to me, but hopefully to you guys, they are even pollinators. Yes, I said pollinators. So more about that later, but you have to stay in live to find out more about their role as pollinators. So I'm giving you that challenge. Now, North America is home to just 58 bat species. I'm leaving that at North America because some of our bats do have a pretty good range. So remember, North America includes Canada, United States, and Mexico. So, yes. We have 3 bats that are carnivores, meaning they eat meat. They just don't feed on insects. Yes, some bats migrate. Some bats also have a big range. So, there's that too. 6 are listed as frugivores. Now, if you don't know what that is, frugivores eat fruit. 43 feed on insects. They're insectivores. Well, we're going to talk about that, but you need to stick around for that. Yeah. I promise, Alaska Han, I will answer that, but you need to stick around for it. Okay? There's going to be a lot of that going on tonight, so just stick around. I promise I will answer it. Now we're just talking about North American bats. One is a piscivore, meaning that it eats fish, and there is even one that feeds on blood. Even though that is all amazing, we're going to fine-tune our scope just a little bit more, and we are only going to be looking at bats that live in the United States. However, I know that I have followers from other places in the world, so if you're not from the United States, Canada, or perhaps Mexico, at the end of live, I will see what I can do about discussing other bat species, because I did not look up other bats besides a few bats from North America. But moving on. So, United States and Canada is home to 45 different bat species. Welcome, Mike Hammond Show. Welcome to live. Hope you're having a great Friday. Remember, it is fine to ask questions as long as those questions are about the topic. Okay, we're not going to be political. Not tonight. Not on my live, okay? But I get it. You're welcome to have your opinion. So, United States, Canada, home to about 45 bat species. Now, I think it's pretty common knowledge that some bats hibernate, but not all of them. And we will be talking about some bat species that do hibernate and some that don't hibernate. Now, it might surprise you to find out that bats have natural predators. They do. They do, in fact, have natural predators. And those include owls, no surprise there, hawks, and snakes. Sadly, domestic cats also take bats, or can take bats. Now, there is something going on with our bats, and that is called white nose syndrome. Now, this is actually a fungus that attacks them, and it grows on the muzzle and the wings, and so far it has been found in 37 states and 7 provinces in Canada. Now, I'm mentioning this because it affects bats in hibernation. So bats need all of the energy that they gather up during the summer in order to hibernate. But if they wake up during winter to scratch their noses, they use up some of that energy. And sadly, it can cause them to not make it through hibernation. Now, I also mentioned that bats pollinate plants, and they do. Without them, we would lose bananas, avocados, mangoes, and there is even talk of chocolate. Over 300 species of plants depend on bats to pollinate their flowers. In the US, plants like agave and I'm going to mess it up, saguaro cactuses would not get pollinated. Now, for those of you, I don't drink liquor, but without them, tequila would have a problem being made. Bats are the only mammal to fly. Carol, are you with me? Just making sure. Good to know, predecessor. It's nice to be not the only one out there that doesn't drink. And Carol, thank you. Many species of mammals glide, but only bats have mastered the skills to fly. Now, talking about flying, there are some bats who are quite the speedsters. In fact, some of them can reach 100 miles per hour in flight. Now, even cooler is their wings. I don't know. Darn it. Okay. I have to keep it away from the screen, but you can see the claw at the top. You can see the feet. What you can't probably see are the wings, or the bones that make up the wings. They have the same number of bones in their wings as we have in our hands. So the wings are just modified hands. Yes, wing arms, exactly. Now here's a fast fact for you. In Texas, well, sort of. More like hands. I mean, they do have the shoulder blades and stuff, but the bones that make up the wing. So here, and here, the fingers, I don't know if I can get that close enough. See I know it's a little bit blurry. Darn it. I can't get it in close enough for you to see it. I guess you can see that. In Texas, I'm not going to say the location, but in Texas, the Mexican free-tailed bats emerged from a cave that is home to over 15 million bats. And it's actually a tourist attraction. Now, here in the United States, we have 12 species of bats that are on the endangered species list. Now, do you know what a baby bat is called? I'm going to give you a few minutes to see if you know. If you know. If you don't know, that's okay. You can put that out there. It is very cool. So, I'm going to wait for a few more seconds because I know sometimes things can be laggy. It is pup. So they are called, as you said, pups. Now, while most bats give birth to single pups, the eastern red bat is known to have twins. You might also be surprised to know that bats actually have really good eyesight. Does that surprise anybody? It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But bats are out at night, right? And so having that vision to see what they're doing can be difficult. We're going to use Morthra again. We're going to talk about that, Carol. So they do see really, really well. The problem is they come out at night. And to aid them, to help them see, they use echolocation. So we have our moth, which is going to be Morthra here, and we have a bat. So the bat sends out an echo, sort of like radar. It hits the moth and bounces back to the bat. That's going to tell them how big an object is, where it's located. It's also going to tell them if it's moving, and probably some other things that we're just not aware of. I also want to talk about something else really quick, because we're going to talk about this now, but we're also going to talk about it later again. Less than 1% of bats carry rabies. However, that being said, I'm going to suggest to you that if you are bit by a bat that is acting strangely, or it's out during the daytime, or if it's really easy to catch it, do not pick it up. Do not try to catch it. If it's a bat in your house, open a window. Let it out. Do not pick it up, because bats can carry rabies. And it only takes that one bite. But if you do get bit, wash the wound, contact your medical care, your doctor. In Utah, they recommend contacting the forget it, it's gone. But moving on, now we're actually going to talk about bats from several different states. And the first bat that we're going to talk about is the eastern red bat. If the bat has bit you and it's out during the day, or it's been really easy to catch, like if the bat literally is flying around outside your home during the day, chances are really, really good that either it's sick, and it would be sick to have rabies. Ideally, in an ideal situation, we wouldn't have to worry about it. But if they're out during the day, you just go get the shots. That's what I'm gonna say. But yeah, I mean, if you can get access to the bat, yeah. But otherwise, it's safer to assume that the bat does have rabies and just go ahead and get the shots. The eastern red bat is found east of the Rockies, from Canada, and as far south as Florida. So there you go, predecessor. There's a bat for you. And it won't be the only bat that we talk about from Florida. These bats do not roost in caves. In fact, they roost in trees. They are actually pretty well camouflaged up in those trees, and they will appear to be dead leaves or pine cones. They are mostly solitary creatures, but like many solitary mammals, they do come together to mate and to migrate. Now at night, these mother bats will leave their pups to go hunt, and the pups can fly at 3 to 4 weeks. It is not uncommon to see these bats around streetlights, taking advantage of the fact that insects are attracted to lights. Any questions so far? Because I know I have a habit of talking way too fast. Tony Alaskahan, Mike Hammond, Ghost, if you have questions, feel free to put those out there. Yeah. And they're not the only bats to do that, by the way. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to move on to the next bat. Now, the next bat is also from Florida, and it is native to South Florida, but they can be found from Orlando or south of Orlando to Miami and on both coasts. Now, they are one of the, I forgot to mention the name of the bat. The name of the bat is the Florida bonneted bat. And I think we talked about these when we did the Central Zoo and Botanical Gardens, the Zoo to Do. I think we talked about it on there. But a little bit more about it. They are one of our largest bats with a wingspan of up to 20 inches. Now, these bats are insect eaters, and they make use of a mix of habitats. They may be found roosting in tree cavities, under the rounded roofing tiles, and even in bat houses. These bats remain active throughout the year. They do not hibernate. They roost typically in small groups with a male, a dominant male, and then several females, plus young. Large groups, though, are possible. Now, these bats can live for 20 years, but 10 years is, of course, much more common. Any questions on that bat before we move on? I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving things a chance to pop up. It is. I don't have lifespans for all of the bats. I wish I did. But I don't. Okay, moving on. The next bat that we're going to talk about is the Indiana Myotis. And this is one of the first bats to be listed as endangered under the Federal Endangered Species Act. Now, these guys hibernate in caves, and they are found, again, east of the Rockies. They can be found from the central Midwest, upper New England states, and south to the northern Gulf states and into northern Florida. In winter, they are found in caves in Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri. In the summer, these bats will roost under the bark of trees. And this species makes use of several different roosting sites. So they will have a main one, and then several others that they may make use of. I need to see if we know. Hold on. I want to check something real quick. So, it always is important to know as much as we can. about an animal. I wanted to see if I can find a number for their population. Okay, so on the IUCN website, they are listed as near threatened with a population that is stable. What I don't know I don't have a count of how many mature individuals there are. At a major hibernation spot in 2003, they had 387,300 bats. It indicated an abundance decline of about 60% since surveys were done in 1960. So there you go. Now, moving west, the lesser longnose bat specializes in feeding off of night-blooming cactuses, including saguaro, and it also pollinates agaves. They not only feed on the nectar of these cactuses, but they also feed on the fruits. And so they actually support these plants by, of course, pooping out seeds. They can be found in grasslands, desert scrublands, and dry tropical forest. Now, this bat was listed as endangered in 1988, but has since been removed off the list, and it is considered to be a conservation success story. So it might be an animal that we see done on the other channel at a later date. It is really amazing and great. We have 4 more bats that we're going to talk about tonight. I'm surprised. Huh. The little brown bat, which is one that I think I see quite a bit in my area. It's actually the model for this bat. These guys are found through forested areas of the United States. They can be found as far north as Alaska and into Canada. Their colonies can be home to literally thousands of bats. They have day roost in trees and crevices. These bats are known to forage over water, where they feed on aquatic insects such as mayflies, mosquitoes, just to name a few. They will also feed in other areas as well. And one bat is capable of eating 1,200 insects in just an hour. So pretty darn amazing. An incredible bat species. The next bat is also from the western United States, and this is the pallid bat. And they are a really, really cool animal. I don't know. I wanted to show you guys what this guy looked like, but I can't find it. Wait, here it is. I have to be really, really quick with this. So, can you see that? That's the pallid bat. Sorry I can't have it up there for very long. Probably shouldn't have had that up there at all. But, this is an interesting species because they feed on insects and other arthropods as well. And we're going to, get to, I don't know if it was Tony or Alaska Hand that asked it, but these guys have a very wide diet. They not only feed on insects and arthropods, but they also feed on cactus flowers, nectar, as well as the fruit. And they can be found throughout western. Yes, arthropods. Hold that question, Carol. I'll explain it in a second. They can be found in western United States, western Canada, and central Mexico. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but they had really large ears. And those ears help them find food on the ground. That's right. These bats are capable of landing on the ground, grabbing food, and flying off with it. And you might be wondering, well, what type of food are they grabbing off the ground? They are grabbing crickets, centipedes, scorpions, cicadas, rodents. Yes, rodents. As well as, well, I said it, scorpions. So arthropods are jointed, footed animals. And they include insects, spiders, crustaceans. Now, though, these guys are not eating crustaceans, and scorpions, which they do eat scorpions. In fact, they seem to have a resistance to the venom of scorpions. The next bat that we're going to talk about is the California leaf-nosed bat. Now, this is the only bat in the United States that has a nose leaf. And it's just a little bitty thing above the nose that sort of looks like a leaf. These guys feed on insects such as beetles, crickets, grasshoppers, and sphinx moths. If you don't know what a sphinx moth is, these are the hummingbird moths. These bats do not migrate. And they do not hibernate. They can be found in the Sonoran Desert and the Mojave Desert. And they can be found in Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, and Western Mexico. And they are known to roost in caves and in abandoned mines. So, yeah. Disturbing these caves or the mines really doesn't do them a lot of good. The next bat that we're going to be talking about is the Pallas mastiff bat. Now, this is a unique bat because it can be found in Central America and South America, but you can also find them in the Florida Keys and also in Puerto Rico. They are insect eaters, and they have an interesting call that they use during hunting. There is something in my ear. And it is a technique called frequency hopping. And this is where the first call is at a lower pitch than the second call. And they think they do this to help it detect prey better. Now, depending upon where you live, this may help you if you want to attract bats, or it may not. This comes from the Utah DNR. So if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. So first thing you can do is you can build a bat box, a bat house, whatever you want to call it. This gives bats a place to roost. If you're interested in it, there is a link in the community page for the channel on YouTube with instructions on how to do that. Bats will roost in hollowed out trees, underneath the bark, even in some shrubs. So the more of those that you have in your yard, the better off you are. Bats will also feed on insects found in ponds and fountains. If your pond is big enough, they may also come down and grab water. Really, really cool to see them doing that off a lake. They come in, assuming this piece of paper is a lake. They will come in, skim over the surface of the water, get a drink, and they may do several of those. Depending upon where you live, you may also want to plant night-blooming plants to attract insects, such as moonflower, 4 o'clocks, yucca. And yucca does grow here in our area of Indiana. That's for me and Carol. And it probably also grows in other places too. Evening primrose and a mixture of other night-blooming insects, night-blooming plants. And again, it is to attract insects. If you live close to a street light, bats will also be attracted to those because they, of course, use those to grab insects. As I am finishing up, just some things to keep in mind that there are some bat species on the endangered species list, and they are protected. One bat can eat up to 1,000 mosquitoes in 1 hour. So that is pretty cool. Very few bats carry rabies, but it's totally the best idea ever to not handle them. Now, if you do have bats in your house, open up the windows, let them out. If you can. If they're in the attic or other places in the house, you need to contact your DNR. Find out the best time to remove the bats. Again, if you go into the, and we'll talk about this site again, but the state of Utah has a really cool page on bats. In Utah, pupping season is between May through July. And that's going to be different depending upon the state that you live in. But they suggest sealing off openings of course, when the bats have vacated the premises. Because if you do it before then, ooh, the smell. So, most places will divide up their state by districts, and you can contact your district's biologist, and I promise you they will be more than happy to help you. But that's all I have for tonight on bats. And I've taken up most of the time. If you have questions about a bat species or other bat things, feel free to ask. I'm a little bit upset because we don't have the numbers that we usually have. So that's troublesome to me. Predecessor, I do appreciate you mentioning how much you love my artwork. That makes me feel good. Because I thought my drawing of the fruit was pretty bad. No, they won't. But there are ways that you, the Utah website. So you would do Fish and Wildlife Utah bats. I forget what they call it. It might even be listed in YouTube. Oops, that's not the one I want. We are back up to 653 subscribers. We dropped earlier today. Hopefully it did. Thank you. So, the website is, if you had pencil and paper, I'm going to write it down on my trusty board here since we have so few people in attendance. I can do that. www wild aware Utah .org. So, it's not gonna fit. Can you see that? It is all one word. I can try typing it into live. No, I can't because it's not there. Darn it. Hold on. Why isn't it there? Some of the information that I used in tonight's live is there, but they have way more information on a bunch of different species. But you also should check with your own state DNR to find out what they have on the bats in your home state. That is always a really good bet. So, if you didn't know, I have a second channel. So this is me. Hopefully it's not causing issues with I don't know if you can click on that, probably not. But that is the live. Yeah, most of the bats though, I think that we're gonna have. I'm gonna exit out. I don't need to be in since it's just the three of us. So, in Indiana, the species of bats that are considered endangered are the gray myotis, little brown iotis, which is the little brown bat, northern long-eared myotis, Indiana myotis, tricolored bat, and the evening bat. Special concern, the southeastern myotis, eastern small-tooth myotis, silver-haired myotis, silver-haired bat, eastern red bat, the hoary bat. Hi, Summer. How you doing tonight? And I'm not going to be able to say this one. It's too bad I'm not still in chat. So we have at least, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bats that are listed as endangered in Indiana. Let's see. I'm going to look up and see if I can find Florida's. Oh, give me a second. I will. Assuming I didn't drop it. Because I'm good for that. Okay, so in Florida, the bats that are on the endangered species list include the Florida bonneted bat, which we talked about tonight, the gray bat, the Indiana bat, So they don't have as many bats on their endangered species list, which says a lot for Florida. I think, anyway. Let me see if, oh, right here. Oh, he was roosting. That's my little bat. I wish I could show you his little face. But it's not going to focus. You guys also need what? To know what's coming up tomorrow? Right? Why do I want to say that tomorrow is... It's probably something really big. Oh, Carol, I got bad news. Oh, tomorrow we're doing ticks. Yay. Ticks. Outdoor safety with ticks. What kind of bats eat bananas? Fruit-eating bats. Many bats eat bananas, including fruit bats and flying bats. Flying foxes. For the most part, I mean, there might be some others that do eat bananas, but fruit bats, definitely. So that is what is coming up tomorrow. And I have a lot of work to do because we are going to be doing a whole bunch of ticks. Since I can't really use pictures for ticks, I have to draw them. Which is always fun. So, yes, July 27th, outdoor safety ticks. Yes, on the other channel, I am doing Conservation Spotlight, Tapanua Orangutan. Tuesday, right, is the 30th. Yes. So Tuesday we are doing apex predators. Thursday on the other channel, carnivores from North and South America that are in my collection. Friday then is going to be Zoo Miami. Zoo Miami. That is a mouthful. And exploring nature trees in my yard. Now I could do your yard, but unless I had pictures, I can't help you. So that is something happening. So that takes us through that week. Oh, Sunday is still July. Okay, cool beans. I can't. So that's why I am doing trees in my yard. Now, I don't know, can you guys submit pictures to YouTube? Is that possible? I don't think it is. I don't think you can. Hold on. Oh, but I know, the thing is though, I know what type of tree that is. No, you can't. Okay. I don't think. No. Okay. So, if you want, I am going to do this. I need a separate email. You know that? Just for YouTube. Carol, how do I do this? How do I get pictures? You know what? Maybe I better just stick with trees in my yard. Although, I think, technically, let's see. Is that information available to you guys? Hold on. Because last thing I want to do, yeah, I'm... Oh no! Carol, we have to talk after live. Because I messed up. No, I did it. Shoot. Okay, guys. I need to talk with Carol. I will talk to you everybody later. Sorry for being so short. Summer, thanks for coming in. I will talk to you peeps later. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. See you tomorrow at 6 for what hopefully will be an interesting live. See you then. Good night, everybody. Be kind. Remember to never give up on yourself and always keep learning. And I will see you in the next one. Good night, everybody.